headlines of this hour on VTV News. Vietnam seeks 45-day delay in U.S. tariff imposition. Vietnam holds military parade to mark 50 years of national reunification. In a world news, U.S. and China trade tensions escalate amid rising tariffs.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is now 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Phie bringing you the latest updates. Now, Prime Minister Phie on Monday night chaired the third meeting to address new developments after the U.S. announced reciprocal tariffs on goods from several countries, including Vietnam. The government senior leader proposed that the U.S. postpone the imposition of its new tariff policy for at least 45 days to allow time for negotiation and transition. Concluding the meeting, he outlined 9 key tasks, emphasizing the need to negotiate for a balanced, sustainable trade that benefits both sides and consumers, while safeguarding Vietnam's FTAs and international commitments. The Prime Minister called for boosting imports of U.S. goods, accelerating the delivery of Boeing aircraft, and thoroughly addressing U.S. concerns. In response to new U.S. tariff policies, Vietnam is also strategically shifting its trade focus. The country aims to increase exports to new markets. Meanwhile, key ministries, trade offices, and the export business community have proactively developed scenarios to adapt to global trade fluctuations and meet export targets for 2025.
Taking up 60% of its export volume, the U.S. is this enterprise's main export market. However, the company is also actively exploring new avenues to enhance product stability and overall export resilience.
The company has to invest more in technological equipment to cut costs and boost productivity, ultimately getting the most competitive price. We are also focusing on expanding in Japan, the EU, Australia, and the Middle East.
Beyond garments, other vital billion-dollar export sectors, including wood and footwear, are increasing raw material imports from the United States and targeting niche markets to broaden their export reach.
The association is working to diversify markets and import more leather from the U.S. to balance bilateral trade.
The association is working to gain a better foothold in the Middle East, Australia, China, and ASEAN markets. It is not easy to gain orders from these markets, so we are promoting product quality enhancement to enhance Vietnam's appeal.
Industry associations underline the potential benefits of Vietnam's participation in 17 free trade agreements, offering access to a vast network of 60 countries and territories. However, they also stress the need for Vietnamese enterprises to diversify their raw material sources and enhance tech application for better product competitiveness.
Moving on to other news, Vietnam's 5% broken rice export price has returned to $400 per ton, matching Thailand's price and exceeding India's. According to the Vietnam Food Association, the rice market has shown increased dynamism over the past 2 weeks.
This enterprise exports approximately 120,000 tons of rice annually, primarily to the Philippines and China, with a portion reserved for domestic sales. They currently hold 16,000 tons of rice and 12,000 tons of paddy from the 2024 to 2025 winter-spring crop. Despite receiving multiple offers from foreign businesses, the enterprise is carefully weighing their options given the positive market signals.
Rice prices have been high since the start of the year. When prices plunged, businesses' purchase of rice for storage has helped stabilize prices and partially restored profit. It may improve in the future, growing by $10 to $15 per ton.
The winter-spring crop has basically ended, but the remaining volume of paddy is low. Meanwhile, the summer-autumn crop is not until July and August. The demand during this gap will heighten rice prices.
White fragrant rice is priced at $505 to $510 per ton for export, while in the country, it's 48 cents per kilo. But enterprises are still hesitant to sell. They are still waiting for it to rise to 50.
Vietnam currently exports 3 types of rice: common, high quality, and premium. High quality rice dominates exports at 60 to 70%, while premium rice accounts for 15%. The country has earned consumer trust for providing large volumes of quality fragrant rice. This advantage helps Vietnam maintain its market share and prices.
Not just Vietnamese broken rice, export value of pepper has also shown positive growth in the first quarter of this year, despite a decline in export volume. By quarter's end, Vietnam has exported over 47,000 tons of various types of pepper. Total export turnover reached $320 million, with black pepper prices surging nearly 95% and white pepper rising over 70% compared to the previous year. The global pepper market in 2025 is forecast to face supply shortages, suggesting pepper prices will remain high. Currently, the average purchase price of pepper in key growing regions stands at around $6 per kilogram. Moving on to our world news, trade tensions between the United States and China risk escalating as both sides adopt a hardline stance on tariff. After U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to impose an additional 50% tariff on Chinese goods, China's ministries of commerce vowed to retaliate. More to follow.
Chinese imports into the U.S. now face the prospect of higher tariffs, exceeding previously set levels. U.S. President Donald Trump made the announcement after China imposed a 34% reciprocal tariff on American goods.
And I said if that tariff isn't removed by tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we're putting a 50% tariff on above the tariffs that we put on.
In response, China's Ministry of Commerce said it would firmly implement measures to safeguard its rights and interests if the U.S. continues to raise tariffs. The ministry also stressed that no side wins a trade war and called for resolving disputes through equal and respectful dialogue.
In response to U.S. President's new tariffs, the European Union has proposed eliminating trade barriers on U.S. industrial goods. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announced the plan to cut tariffs to zero, urging Washington to offer reciprocal treatment for similar European products. The proposal covers sectors such as automobiles, chemicals, and pharmaceuticals. While pushing for negotiations with the U.S., the European Commission also preparing retaliatory measures should talks fail. Meanwhile, the EU's Commissioner for Trade and Economic Security said the bloc would deploy all trade instruments to protect its single market.
And the other pillar is diversifying our trade relations. The EU in a given situation.
Asian markets opened higher on Monday, rebounding from 18-month lows on hopes the U.S. might be willing to adjust some tariffs. Japan's Nikkei 225 jumped nearly 6%, while South Korea's Kospi gained 1.7%. Chinese stocks also posted gains, but markets in Southeast Asia, including Indonesia, Singapore, and Thailand, edged lower. In contrast, U.S. stock markets closed Monday's session with volatile swings across major indexes. Global oil prices fell to their lowest levels in 4 years as concerns mounted that U.S. tariff policies could trigger a worldwide economic slowdown and dampen energy demand. Brent crude dropped 2.1% to $64.21 per barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude fell 2.1% to $60.7 per barrel as of the April 7th close, both marking their lowest levels since April 2021, after an 11% plunge the previous week. Analysts indicate that the declines reflects fears that tariffs will hurt oil demand. Saudi Arabia and other producers predict that supply-demand balances will be disrupted, forcing officials' selling prices to be cut. Before we move on to other important updates, let's take a look at the foreign exchange rate of today, April the 8th. Coming up next, Vietnam-Uzbekistan strengthen bilateral cooperation in multiple fields. And Vietnam provides 3,000 fuel tanks to support people in Myanmar. Welcome back to VTV News. Now, during his official visit to Uzbekistan, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn held talks with President Shavkat Mirziyoyev. The two sides agreed to enhance political dialogue and exchanges at all levels and continue mutual support at multilateral forums. Both countries committed to sharing experiences in legal oversight and national decision-making, as well as signing cooperation documents, creating a solid legal framework for comprehensive bilateral ties. In addition, businesses from both sides are encouraged to explore partnerships in healthcare, energy, oil and gas, textiles, and agriculture. Vietnam and Uzbekistan has agreed to boost cooperation in transport, culture, education, tourism, and people-to-people exchange, including expanding flight routes and easing up visa policies. Vietnamese rescue forces handed over 10 tons of equipment to Myanmar's forces and people in the capital city of Naypyidaw on Monday. The aid package includes military medical supply, logistic equipment, healthcare equipment, tanks, technical equipment, and generators. Additionally, Vietnam's Ministry of National Defense urgently delivered 3,000 large fuel tanks valued at over $80,000 to Myanmar. These supplies are essential as many people have lost their homes in the earthquake. Authorities in southern localities are actively encouraging residents to expedite a site clearance for the Ho Chi Minh-Thủ Dầu Một Trơn Thành Expressway project. This key transport infrastructure project will contribute significantly to the socio-economic development of the southeast region. More to follow.
This family will lose more than 2 hectares of rubber trees, all over 10 years old, to site clearance for the expressway project. After many discussions, the family reluctantly cut down their rubber plantation, which have been generating millions of Vietnam dong daily, to facilitate early site handover.
I hope the authorities will provide reasonable compensation and complete the project quickly.
The expressway will take up 6 parts of this man's 1-hectare farm area. However, he is still happy to hand over the land for the project. After decades of farming in this area, he never thought that one day there would be a major road passing through here.
I'm glad there will be a road passing through this forested area. All the related paperwork is done, so I look forward to it.
The expressway section through Bình Phước province spans 6.6 kilometers, covering 729,000 square meters of privately owned land and affecting 168 households. Encouragingly, dozens of households have already voluntarily handed over their land for the expressway construction within a brief period. They inspire one another in supporting this meaningful project.
The authorities successfully persuaded 25 households to hand over their sites for construction before receiving compensation.
The public's support and local authorities' determination are key drivers in implementing the expressway project. This is expected to accelerate both the construction start and completion timeline.
Now, over the past 2 years, many rare and endangered wildlife species listed in both the Vietnamese and global red books have been spotted in Bu Hu Nature Reserve, Thanh Hóa Province. The discoveries come from camera traps installed by the reserve's management board throughout natural forest areas, providing the first concrete photographic evidence of these species. The footage reveals groups of animals, including jungle cats, Asiatic black bears, muntjacs, and wild boars. Spanning 27,000 hectares of forest, Bu Hu Nature Reserve is home to more than 900 rare wildlife species. The Khmer people in southern Vietnam will celebrate their traditional Chon Thu Nam Thơ Mây New Year in mid-April. Across the Mekong Delta, local authorities are working swiftly to replace temporary and dilapidated houses with new homes, ensuring families can celebrate the holiday in proper dwellings.
This year, this woman and her husband are preparing offerings for their ancestors to mark the new year. It will also be the first time they celebrate Chon Thu Nam Thơ Mây in their dream home.
Having a new house to welcome the new year is such a joy for our family.
Of more than 8,600 households in need of housing support in Soc Trang, 479 families have been provided new homes under the National Program for Socio-Economic Development in Ethnic Areas. In this district alone, 141 Khmer households have benefited from this initiative.
Many localities contributed both labor and funds to help build more sturdy homes in time for Tet.
We are closely monitoring construction quality and progress, regularly inspecting each project site to ensure timely completion.
With 70% of houses completed, the campaign to eliminate temporary and rundown housing in Soc Trang demonstrates the strong commitment of local authorities, businesses, and community members. Through collective effort and shared contributions in both labor and funding, people are working together to ensure Khmer families across the province can celebrate a warm and meaningful Tet.
Coming up next, tourism boom signals a bright future for Ho Chi Minh City. Vietnam holds military parade to mark 50 years of national reunification. Ho Chi Minh City is rolling out new tourism products this April, seizing a golden opportunity as the major festival commemorate the 50th anniversary of the liberation of the South and national reunification. Historical tours have emerged as key attractions, while early bookings surged more than 50% compared to the same period last year. Ho Chi Minh City welcomed 10 million visitors in the first quarter of 2025, marking a nearly 10% increase year-on-year. The city's tourism industry is seizing the momentum to create a breakthrough, aiming to generate $10 billion in revenue this year. Also, in preparation for the upcoming South Liberation and National Reunification celebration, 15 ceremonial cannons were transported to Bạch Đằng Wharf in Ho Chi Minh City on Sunday night. The artillery team will fire 21 rounds to the sound of the national anthem of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Preparations are still underway, with the Ho Chi Minh City People's Committee overseeing the site to accommodate the 4 to 5 ton cannons. After the event, the District 1 People's Committee will reinstate the area for public use, providing a space for people to relax and take photos. With just over 20 days until the parade marking the 50th anniversary of the liberation of the South and national reunification, April the 30th, 1975-2025, preparations are in full swing. More than 13,000 participants will take part. armed forces personnel are training intensively to reenact the nation's heroic memory of the historic April the 30th.
For over 3 months, 137 female soldiers representing the Saigon Special Forces have been rigorously training from early morning until late evening. Despite the hardships, each step remains synchronized and each movement precise, reflecting not only their determination, but also evoking the indomitable spirit of their predecessors.
I feel extremely honored because not everyone in their military career gets the chance to participate in such a major parade.
The unit commander plays a vital role in maintaining rhythm and unity across hundreds of members during the parade formation.
As commander, I must keep the unit aligned by mastering every key movement. The thought of joining the April 30th parade keeps me motivated.
Despite the scorching April heat in southeastern Vietnam, the soldiers' dedication, unity, and determination remain undeterred.
As soldiers, training and drilling are part of our daily lives. Parade drills are tougher, but we are determined to be precise, synchronized, and graceful.
By turning sweat into strength and hardship into determination, all forces are training with enthusiasm, ready for the grand celebration.
Tunnels, Sun in the Dark, a revolutionary war blockbuster, is drawing massive crowds to cinema. 60,000 tickets were sold before the film's official release, with nearly 5,000 screenings on offer. Box office revenue has hit nearly $2.7 million in just a few days. This is an unprecedented box office phenomenon for a historical genre film. Let's take a look.
The National Cinema Theatre, on the last day of the holiday break, is holding 25 screenings of Tunnels, Sun in the Dark in one day.
I think young people shouldn't forget history, and I want to watch it to better understand the spirit of the past, how everyone worked hard and strived to serve the country.
Because I have a Vietnamese family, I've lived in Vietnam, I learned a little bit more about the hardship that Vietnamese people went through in the war.
The film takes the audience back to the Cu Chi tunnels, where the earth itself becomes a fortress.
I had to work really hard to operate in such a cramped environment because there was no space to set up the lights or the cameras.
The people of Cu Chi dug the tunnels by hand, so the sets in the film also kept completely minimalist. We worked with the people who had lived and fought in the tunnels. They shared their stories, guided us, and brought us back to the past.
Not only does the film touch the hearts of the audience, but it also opens up a new direction for the revolutionary war film genre.
Private investors are also directly funding war films. In the future, we can expect more valuable productions. The theme of revolutionary history is always captivating, leaving valuable lessons that remain relevant to this day.
The lines of people waiting to see the film still haven't dried up. Films about war will always have a place in the hearts of the audience.
The TV live broadcast Epic of Peace, which was aired on Sunday, transmitted from 3 locations: Hanoi, Buôn Ma Thuột, and Ho Chi Minh City. The program marked the 50th anniversary of the liberation of the South and the reunification of the country. It featured remarkable artistic performances combined with live reenactments and 3D mapping light displays, leaving a lasting impression on both participants and the audience.
The Outside broadcast vividly and authentically recreated the 21-year journey of hardship, sacrifice, and unparalleled heroism of the Vietnamese people. The journey unfolded like a grand epic of sorrow and glory, culminating in the historic 1975 Spring General Offensive and Uprising.
I'm grateful to the program for bringing back the memories of those years filled with struggle and sacrifice. The peace we enjoy today, the meals we eat, the clothes we wear, wasn't won easily. It wasn't a path lined with comfort and ease, but one built on the flesh and blood of countless generations before us.
With the immersive live stage set up in Đắk Lắk and Ho Chi Minh City, combined with the studio setting in Hanoi, the broadcast delivered profound and emotional stories to the audience, seamlessly blended with stunning artistic performances.
This was the first time I've ever seen a performance where 3D mapping was projected directly onto a historical site like the Independence Palace, and it stirred up so many emotions within me.
I believe the program has helped younger generations understand the true cost of peace and what we must do to preserve it. Peace should be a lasting foundation where every Vietnamese person has the right to live and the right to pursue happiness.
Epic of Peace was an opportunity for today's and future generations to remember and honor the tremendous sacrifices of our heroic martyrs, the sons and daughters of Vietnam who gave their youth, the springtime of their lives to achieve the great victory on April the 30th, 1975.
As usual, let's take a look at the weather forecast. And that's the end of VTV News. To watch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or visit our YouTube channel, VTV4Go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.